We got a live cast in here today. We're going to go ahead and talk about that good old black and yellow, them Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves real quick, starting from the top. Go ahead up top, Will.
Hey, it's Will Mitch. Hey, still a fan all my life. Live in Maryland. What's happening?
Mitch Matthews from Matt Full Sports Podcast. Still all day, every day.
Got Titus from Titus Takes. Born and raised in Pittsburgh, live in the Maryland area. I like to talk about football, period.
John Farr, born and raised in Pittsburgh as well. I live in the Maryland area. I'm a Steelers fan. Football as well.
It's a bunch of 412 vibe in this place. What's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
Oh, man. So listen, real quick, and I want to go in the same order that we did the introduction. If you can briefly describe last week's game in one word, what would it be? Starting with you, Will.
Bruh, that was amazing.
Mitch.
Gratifying.
Titus.
Long overdue.
That's two words. I was going to say that.
Unexpected.
Let's start with you, Sean. Why was it unexpected for you?
Because I know Mitch. He not Mitch. What's dude's name?
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. I know he put up numbers before, but you just didn't expect that from him because you don't really think he's that good. And I just didn't expect him to put up 30 points. I expected it to be their normal 16-13 game or something like that. And he was accurate on the money, taking deep shots. So yeah, it was unexpected. I expected the Bengals to put up more than they did. Because they've been hot right now. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, what was your thoughts when we came out on that first drive? And despite it being a quick slam for a touchdown, what was your thoughts in regards to the production of that first drive?
Man, I felt like, just for George Pickens, man, I was like, man, it's just what the doctor ordered for that young man because he's been chipping at the bait, man. He's been ready. Going back to, preseason and watching him work, the last two seasons to see that he's ready and he's the most athletic player we got on the team in an offensive sense. Man, I was just so happy for him, because he's been under a lot of pressure and he's gotten a lot of feedback, deservingly so. But man, I was like, this is what that man been waiting on. Give it to him, feed him. That's what I felt.
In regards to Will's comments about George Pickens and some of the burn being self-deserved, because he created, a lot of the things the things that were said in the media about him that talked about his character in regards to the taking the plays off or whatnot. But there was an outcry from some Steelers fans who were saying that he should have been benched. Do you agree with benching a player like George Pickens?
Over that, no, I didn't agree with benching him. Should he been scolded? Yes, but benching, I thought that might have been a little excessive. If that was the cause of them losing the game, that probably would have been a different story.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just one of many bad plays in that game. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't just. I just felt like he was getting singled out because everybody played horribly that particular game, and he got singled out. But like Will said, that I was happy for him. I was very happy for him. It was like to be honest, it was like a middle finger to the media. You know what I mean? And I'm a big component of giving the media middle fingers.
Right. Well, but my thing with in regards to George, I think that when we talk about media, the media can have a hand in the way, and they can frame it in a way that appeals to be disrespectful. I agree. But when it came to the antics, when it came to the things that George was doing and or said, I think the criticism was belongs of his own. You know, as former football players as we all are, right? If I come to the huddle and or if I'm in the locker room and I know that Will just had a nice run, and I could have possibly sprang him in the end zone, you know, if I'd have just attempted to make a block, but then I say, well, I didn't want to block because I didn't want to get injured. How would that roll? How would that sound? How would you feel if I came in a locker room and made a statement like that, Titus?
So let's start off where I vehemently disagree with him not being benched. And it wasn't just because of him not willing to block and then throwing out the lame excuse that, oh, I didn't want to get rolled up on. He's had temper tantrums on the sidelines throughout the past few weeks and a lack of effort in other areas in his game. And on top of that, George Pickens is a phenomenal blocker. If you guys remember his draft film, half of
Yeah,
his
Yeah.
film was
definitely.
him blocking people into the stands, people into the sidelines, people into the ground. Now you're in the NFL, right? And what happens is when a coach allows a particular behavior to happen and get away with it with a rookie, that now becomes the norm, right? It started off with Antonio Brown, right? The Le'Veon Bell. So I think Tomlin made a bad decision on not benching him. I love what George did in his game last week. He had a phenomenal game. But Jair Alexander has been suspended for a week for walking into a coin toss, right? And almost costing the coin toss for the Packers. What George Pickens did was a lot more egregious, in my opinion. And I thought that it should have been handled with a more stern touch. That's just my opinion.
Hey, Sean, is there a lack of discipline, or is there a lack of discipline in the NFL now?
In the entire
I
NFL.
think let me rephrase the question. When it comes to, because I understand what Titus is saying in regards to, you know, being stern, but has there been a shift in regards to what's acceptable versus what's not? Meaning George being dissatisfied with his touches or QB player whatnot. Are we giving a pass for players nowadays in regards to give an excuse for their behavior?
Ooh, I don't think they should be given a pass. I mean, in Georgia's case, it seems like he was given a pass, and I agree with Titus. In terms of he should have, I think he should have been benched. Um, like that kind of behavior is unacceptable to me because it is a team game, and I know you want your touches. I know your quarterback is garbage or whatever, and he may not be throwing the rock where it's supposed to be or throwing it to you, but there are other ways you can get involved in the game. And Titus did say he is an exceptional blocker. Like you've seen him on a film. He done it this year, last year, before. You'll see him get the pancakes. And I mean, you got to stay involved in the game that way. So I do think, I think it's like more of like the receiver position though. That
Yeah,
is the diva quotient they have, where you know what I mean. Like I think even recently, AJ Brown was complaining about his touches or something. I think it was a few weeks ago or whatever, but they were still winning. So it's like, all right, we winning, but you complaining about your touches. But I think he was involved in the game other ways as well, like throwing blocks and stuff like that. So I mean, nah, you can't let that stuff ride. You gotta bench him and be like, look, man, there's other ways for you to get involved and stay involved in the game and for to help us win until we scheme it up so you can get the ball this way or scheme it up so we can get the ball to you or put a QB in, something like that.
Hey, Mitch,
yeah.
is it our best interest to start Mason Rudolph this week or go back to Kenny Pickett?
Mason, my
Why?
my opinion. Ride the hot hand. That I don't get me wrong. I still think it's Kenny's job, but no. First of all, I don't think he's 100% healthy. First of all, I think he's trying to rush to get back.
What if he was?
I still would play Mason. You know what I'm saying? Now, when the season's over, that's a different story. But right now, as the way he played last week, I gotta go with him.
Yeah.
No, I think he's doing the team a disservice if he didn't.
Absolutely. Well, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Mitch, man. You know, it's all about some cohesion, man. We haven't had it lately. And just to see the way that team came together around Mason. And, you know, shout out to Mason, man. It's like, you know, for what he's been through over the past, 5 or 6 seasons, you know, with us and just the way Coach Tomlin kind of answered questions in regards to him, you know, being the QB or having the opportunity to start, you know, you didn't get a sense that the respect factor, you know, is shared abroad, you know, as it relates to him. You know, I often wonder why they brought him back, you know, because last season he was talking like he wanted out. So it's really a miracle and a blessing to us that the guy came back for a season, you know, because who knew that Mr. Trubisky was going to flop the way he did and Kenny was going to have a sophomore slump the way he's having. And, man, it's just right now, man, it's just like poetic justice for Mason Rudolph that after all he's been through, his faith was strong. He believed in himself. Even Coach T said he believes in himself. He never say we believe in him as an organization, as a team. He always said he has strong belief in himself, and he does. And I think in one game, this dude has proven that he still has the goods to make it in the NFL. You know, it definitely shot his confidence level up, and it got some people around the league taking a look like, oh boy, you know, we might have to take a look at this Mason. If not for number one, maybe number two. You know, so shout out to him, man, his family, man, because that dude's been through a lot.
Titus, if Mason goes out and have another productive game this week, win or lose, and Kenny is healthy next week, are we going back to Kenny?
No, and there's a couple of reasons why. A, Mason is 6-4-1 as a Steelers quarterback, as a starter, right? If he wins next week, he'll be 7-4-1. Right now, he is 18 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, which is a lot better than what Kenny Pickett has produced in his 18 or 19 games as a starter in the NFL. I personally don't think that Mason Rudolph was given a fair shot last year in the quarterback competition in the preseason. It was all window dressing. Mr. Trubisky was promised the opportunity to start. Tomlin stuck to that. And then at first sight, he had to turn over the keys to Kenny Pickett because we drafted him in the first round. But if you look at Mason Rudolph and his body of work, even if you go back to his days at Oklahoma State, the guy is a baller. He throws the ball down the field. If you guys remember, you guys watch Pitt football. Oklahoma State played Pitt. He lit us
killed
up.
us.
Lit us up.
Killed us.
Destroyed him. Yeah.
Him in Washington.
Washington, right? So I think that he deserves the opportunity, and also not just for this game, right? Just because we drafted a quarterback in the first round, and Kenny has a little bit of special to him because he's a Pittsburgh kid because he went to Pitt. But if Kenny Pickett didn't go to Pitt, we wouldn't even be entertaining the fact of him coming back next year, right? There's other quarterbacks in the NFL who've been drafted in the first round who got a year or two. We can talk about the gentleman from Arizona, right? He got 1 year and he was out of there. He was drafted in the top 10.
Rosen, Josh Rosen.
Right?
Josh Rosen.
Pickett was drafted at 20, right? Josh Rosen was drafted in the top 10. He was out of there, right? So just because we drafted you in the first round doesn't mean we need to stick with you. And our first round draft picks have been not impressive in the last 5 years. So
yeah.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
You know, just let's think back. You know, Ben never liked Mason.
Nah.
Mason never stood a chance. You know, from day one. You know, we had Josh Dobbs. Couldn't understand why we went and drafted Mason anyway. But then you don't give pretty much any of them a shot because Ben didn't want to tick him off, make him have to feel like he's looking over his shoulder. But Ben was very overt about the fact that he did not like Mason. So Mason, you know, I mean, just to see his confidence level maintained through all of that, man. I mean, it's just a testament to who the guy is. And I really hope that he, you know, wins this next game, you know, convincingly. And then, hey, let's see what happened against Baltimore. I say let's ride him. If he's hot, let's ride him.
Yeah.
And then next year they can figure that out.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay that man for real if they ever thought to bring him back and I don't think he'll come back and sit behind Kenny Pickett anyway. I think he's going to go off the greener pastures, unless we make a commitment to him, which we're just going to have to wait and see about that. But then, man, just shout out to that man. I'm happy for that man, and I'm really hopeful that he can bring the goods on Sunday, man. I really do.
When you talk about the part about Ben, the thing that and this is where, and Sean and them know, I wasn't a big Ben fan. But when you talk about leadership and you talk about a captain, this is why I feel like I never qualify him as a leader or a captain, because when you draft a quarterback, regardless of what he felt we should have drafted, you never come out and you never say to the entire world, well, it's not my job to help him or train him. He got to come in here and do it on his own. Okay, yes, that is true. But as the starter, you're supposed to make sure that the QB room is supposed to be one of the tightest rooms on an NFL team where we're all helping each other get better. And in my opinion, I felt Ben showed that he had no interest in trying to help Mason become a better quarterback.
I'm going to say this real quick, and then the classiest organization that showed you how to handle quarterback controversy is Green Bay.
Oh,
look
Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers.
They don't play. When it comes to succession planning, they make it happen. And they're no respecter person when it comes to that. And so I respect that organization, and I wish we would take a page out of that organization when it comes to particularly the quarterback position. And hey, man, when it's time to go, hey, they know. They watching. They're using metrics. They're using data analysis and everything else. And they can see, hey, man, you at the end of your life, your shelf, and we're going to do what's best for the organization. Shout out to Green Bay, man. But I hope we, do right over this next season or so, because we got some tough choices to make. Pickett may or may not be the guy. We don't know. Just be fair. Just be fair about it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sean.
I said he ain't it. Nobody in that room is it. I know, Mason had a good game. Mason is 6-4-1 now. But to me, he's either a career backup. He's not a franchise QB. He's not going to have no Geno Smith resurgence and lead us to the playoffs or whatever, lead us to a championship. Nah. The whole QB room, it's time to get rid of all of them. Draft somebody, go after Justin Fields or even Russell, something like to kill our QB room is
well, Mitch, I see you shaking your head no on the quarterback selection. What's your thoughts?
All right, so for the most part, I agree with Sean. Honestly, he threw me off when he said the Russell Wilson. And the reason I said that is because Russell Wilson's not a leader. He's really not a leader. It's been proven. If you listen to all the guys from Seattle talk about it, he ain't no leader, and we already got kind of a little bit of fragile stuff going on with the offensive players now.
He's a leader on offense, yeah.
Exactly. You don't want him coming in and making it worse than it already is. You know what I mean? I agree with what you said about Mason. For me and Terrence talked about this before. For me, the jury is still out on Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to commit to him, but the jury's still out for me. Once we get this new OC in, I actually would like to see us get Justin Fields to somebody to push him. You know what I'm saying? To be like, hey, it's a competition in the room, and make it a competition. To me, competition is going to bring out the best in anybody
all the time.
So if we was able to get Justin Fields, long as they not asking for something crazy
draft picks,
because I'm not on that. I'm not giving a whole lot and I like Justin Fields, but I'd be damned if I'm gonna give up my future for Justin Fields. I'm not going to do that. But if we can get him for something like a 3rd round pick or something like that, and get him to come in the room and push Kenny, and whoever the best man is going to be the best man, I'm all for that. But I'm jury's still out on me for Kenny Pickett.
So Titus, as they were talking, I just thought about something. And Sean, you can vouch for this. Do y'all remember when we drafted Kenny Pickett, who was the most upset in our group?
Wasn't it you? You were Titus?
Yes. listen, when I tell you when we draft, because we all in the group text, when we drafted him, I was hot because for me, I feel like numbers don't lie, right? And when I go to Kenny Pickett, I look at I look at all 4 years. I look at his full body of work. And for me, his numbers were consistent when it came to, my bad, his COVID year is right. His COVID year too. But when you go 2,300 yards, 3,200 yards, 2,600 yards, but your touchdown interception ratio is the same, 13-9, and then your fifth year, you go 4,200 yards, 42 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. I don't believe that year because that was 1 year out of everything you showed me consistently. Now, Titus, you didn't agree with me at first when I said it. You were on board with Kenny. How are you feeling now, and what's your thoughts?
Hey, so I was a huge Kenny Pickett fan at Pitt. You already stated it. I'm on record, right? Not hiding that whatsoever. But as new information emerges, you must be willing to make new decisions, right? And if you watch Kenny Pickett play, and Mitch, you said, the jury's still out on him. When you draft a quarterback in the first round, right now, first round draft picks outside of the top 10 typically fail, and then inside the top 10, they're 50%, right? Success rate. When you watch Kenny Pickett play football in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, does anything about him scream franchise quarterback?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing at all, right? So when we look at, and we can use this same analogy for a couple other guys who were drafted in the drafts before him and since him, right? We can look at
Jamarcus Russell,
Matt Jones, right?
Jamarcus Russell, Matt Lee.
Lange. I'm talking about recent guys, right?
Oh, okay.
Matt Jones, right? Trey Lance, right? When you look at these guys on the field, right? Nothing pops off the film. Kenny, it doesn't matter who's offensive coordinator, right? And I hate the fact that we got rid of the coordinator because now, hear me out. This is where I'm going with this. We got rid of the coordinator, and now the new excuse is, oh, we got to give Kenny another year with a new coordinator, right? So now we're stuck with Kenny for another year because, oh, we gotta make sure it wasn't the coordinator's fault. Well, we got two coordinators right now. We got a quarterback coach calling plays, and we got an offensive coordinator, and he still looked the same, right? So getting a new coordinator is not going to change the fact that he does not pop. His arm doesn't pop. His accuracy is not there. He doesn't see the field well. What else do we need to see about the guy? I'm seriously. What do we need to see from Kenny Pickett to show us that he's worth?
I got a question.
Go ahead, Mitch.
So, hey, bro, even if Kenny Pickett was better, this offense is trash, bro. I'm not even saying this to be a bailout. Terrence know this because we talked about it. This offense is bad. It was bad with Ben. It was bad with Trubisky. It was bad with everybody who been a quarterback in it, including Kenny Pickett. The offense schematically is bad. I'm not talking like from execution, because from an execution standpoint, I don't feel like the players been executing at a high level in offense, period. But what about the prior years where the offense was bad? Because remember, at first it was, oh man, we need to get another quarterback because Ben is on his last leg. Remember, that was the thing. Mm-hmm. Then the next season it was the same thing. It was the exact same thing under different quarterbacks. This offense is just bad.
But Canada wasn't the coordinator all those years either.
I'm not excusing Kenny for that though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not excusing his play for the offense, but I think the offense schematically is bad anyway. I don't know if a new OC going to make him better. You know what I mean? But I feel like if you bring a new OC in, and then that kind of like cleans the slate, but then you bring another quarterback in, and they both learning the offense at the same time, now it's an even competition. Who's going to be the better quarterback? You know what I mean?
Will, do you want to chime in? You got anything you want to chime in on this, or Sean?
Go ahead, Sean.
I agree with Mitch in terms of the coordinator, the scheme. Like, that scheme is trash, dude. He was running a midget league offense.
Yes.
Like, the plays, the route combos, they were trash. So I can see, like, if we get a coordinator who's smart, who knows how to scheme stuff up, I mean, that possibly could help Kenny. I mean, similar to like how you see like a Brock Purdy or something eating in that San Fran offense, because a lot of it is their scheme. I mean,
Yeah.
At best he could be a game manager. You know what I mean? But if he's putting the right scheme or has a coach who can say, hey, you know, here's these routes, you have these options. All right, let's play to your strength, which I guess is rolling out, and stop doing that little twirl out of the
Pocket.
your pocket. Like cut all that out, do step up in the pocket. You know, like that can work with him and you know, showing him the concepts and make easy throws for him. Like make them easy. Then yes, then give him another chance. I mean, he's still not it, but I agree with what you said in terms of like bringing somebody else too, so that both of them learn the offense. But it's definitely the coordinator. I mean, Canada was dumpster juice for like 2 straight years. Before that, it was like Randy Schfinkter or whatever dude's name was. He was trash too. Like I don't know, the offense. It's been putrid for like 5 years?
About 4 or 5 years probably.
But so here's a question I have.
Yeah.
So what happened to the offense when we fired Matt Canada that following Sunday when
It's
they
still there.
ran up over 400 yards of offense? What changed?
I think what that was, the players had something to prove. Like they had to come out and respond, and I really can't, because if you look at the way they came out, their energy was high. You know, they came out, oh, we like the plays that was called. Oh, we had better flow, better rhythm and flow. But then the next 3 games we played two. The next 2 games is 2 and forever teams. Then the next game we play against Indianapolis, and we flatlined in those 3 games. It was no more of that energy. The media was no longer on us, in my opinion. The media no longer was highlighting us because of that situation. Matt Canada was a spotlight that kept us in the spotlight. When Matt left, that spotlight shined. Then let's see what happens now. They respond, oh, is this the Steelers now moving forward? And I feel like they reverted back to the Steelers they were when Matt was there.
So here's what I see. I see a team that is searching for motivation to get up for certain games. So like you say, Matt Canada leaves, we run off 400 yards of offense. This past week, Mason comes in, and we go up 24-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
So is that a leadership issue that's these guys are not motivated? It takes spectacular things to happen to get them motivated, because it's the same offense.
Yeah.
They're running the same offense. It's working, but it only works at certain times when there's a certain motivational impetus that gets these guys riled up. So that makes me wonder what's going on all these other games when they're playing poor and all of a sudden the O-line can't block and these guys are just look deflated running the routes. So I'm confused, just being honest with y'all. I really don't know what's going on. And that's why sometimes I feel like let's just blow all this crap up, because if you can't figure out one thing that's ailing this team, you know, I'm just like, man, just tear it all up. But it's something works when it needs to work. But but we just can't. We have to figure that out. I just don't know, what that is. I just don't like them getting up for certain games because of certain instances. I want them to play like this all the time because we're capable. We have the talent. The scheme obviously isn't too bad because it's working. When, like I say, in these other instances, but what's going on? And somebody at the top needs to take a real deep dive into what's going on in that locker room. What's going on in the heads of these players.
Yeah.
Because to me, they got me confused this season. I've been more confused than I've ever been about what's going on with this team, because we are capable, we're talented, and sometimes we just blow the doors off people. But then there's other times we take a L, and it's kind of confusing. It's kind of frustrating.
So Titus and Sean.
Hold up.
Wait, go ahead, Sean.
I tapped into something.
Go ahead, Sean.
I like your point. We never blow the doors off people. We would sneak bash.
Yeah.
But I think it's a combination of like a couple things. Like one, it goes back to what you said, Terrence, like in terms of like that leadership thing with Ben. I don't think there's a leader on offense. There's no You know what I mean? Like on like the defense, you know, you got Cam,
You got Minka,
got
right?
Minka,
You got
like
TJ, you got
yeah,
Highsmith.
yeah. Back when Troy them was here, you had Troy, Ryan Clark, James Harrison, all them. Them was leaders. Like now, there's no leader on offense. Like there's nobody. Like Ben wasn't a leader. I mean, they tried to make Najee a leader, but sometimes you be like, get out of here with that Najee, because you're really not that nice. So we're not going to listen to you. Like there's no leaders on offense. I think that's one of the things. I also think that if they bring in, my choice would be Bieniemy, but it's probably not going to happen. Like, because I think Bieniemy he would be on their butts on offense, man. He would get them going. You know what I mean?
George Pickens going to be complaining like the Washington Commanders. He's too hard on us. He's too hard on us.
I mean, hey, that's what they need. Remember when Tomlin first came, right?
Oh yeah.
About him 10-6, and they was like, "Yo, Tomlin was hard on us his first year, but then he seen how we were, so he kind of backed off and let us do our thing." Like, I think they need that. The offense needs that to get up. You know what I mean? To get to where they need to be.
Ryan Clark said what Sean said. Ryan Clark said exactly what you said on Get Up. Honestly, he said particularly about that part about the grinding them, and then the next season they let off, and then we went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. But to Will's point, hey Will, the two games that we really look good on offense. Did any of y'all notice that both of them games was against the Bengals?
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm wondering, is the team really that good, or was it just the Bengals?
I think
you see what I'm saying? Because even in the Cardinals game, right? Kenny Pickett got off and started playing good right out the gate. The offense went right down the field. Then when he got hurt, we was in the goal line getting ready to score when he got hurt. And then Trubisky came in, and this guy had 5 picks in 2 games. I'm sorry, 3 games, 2.5 games, whatever you want to call it. 5 picks in 3.5 games. I call him Trubumsky. He a bum.
yo, Mitch hates he hates Mitch.
I cannot enough tell y'all how much I don't like his game. He's a bad decision maker. Any quarterback that's a bad decision maker is not a good quarterback. He makes bad decisions constantly. And him turning the ball over constantly hurts the team. It don't just hurt it hurt the team. You put the defense in a bad situation. And to Matt Canada, the Matt Canada thing, he wasn't a good play caller. That was the real problem with Matt Canada. He was a bad play caller. Like in situational football instances, he was bad. Like a lot of things about him was bad. And to me, it was a whole lot of things wrong with his offense. I think Sean right about not having a leader. We don't have an adult in the room.
Because here's the thing.
The reason why we don't
have the team captain.
The reason why we don't have an adult in the room, there's a couple things. I want to make 3 points, and I want to get y'all thoughts on the last one. Mitch, you said it perfectly, and Will and Sean, y'all both hit on it as well. We used us 5 have used the word offense and the Steelers offense and them calling plays and having an offense. The Steelers don't have an offense. They call plays, right?
Yeah. Oh, Dan Orlowski said that.
They don't build on nothing, right? I was watching the 49ers play and watching how open George Kittle was every play, and I'm like, it was a scheme. It wasn't because George Kittle was superior to somebody, right? It was the play design, right? And then the play design, the play that came after that built off of the last play. And then 5 plays later, they came back up with something they ran 6 plays before that, right? So we never, between Randy Finchner, Matt Canada, have not had a play caller that actually can call plays and build upon each other, but we call it an offense, right? So that's the first point. The second point, Will and Sean, y'all really drove this home. Y'all said, hey, there's no leader on offense. Well, why is there no leader on offense? Easy question. I feel like the Steelers are behind in times right now. And bear with me when I say this. If you look at all the top teams in the NFL, where do they spend their money at?
Offense,
right? Yeah. All our money is tied up on defense, right? We have no money spent on offense right now. There's nobody on the offense making more than our top 7 defensive players, right? So now you got all these young guys, right? No leaders, right? No big dogs, right? George Pickens is young, right? But we don't have the killer bees on our offense right now. The Steelers is prehistoric, keep on spending all the money on defense, when meanwhile the rest of the NFL is loaded up on offense, and that's who's winning Super Bowls right now. It's the offenses. So my question to you guys is, should we change our philosophical approach to how we build our team? Right now we spent money on Minka, a lot of money on Minka, right? A lot of money on TJ Watt, and then a lot of money on Alex Highsmith, right? That's most of our money's tied up right there. So
Let me take a whack at it.
Do we continue to go that way, or do we have to start following the leader, doing what the rest of the league is doing? What y'all thoughts?
No, bro, you're absolutely right, man. This is an offensive type of situation right now. The league is heavily tilted towards the offense. You know, Mike Tomlin often talks about package football. You know, that you have to put together these sub packages on defense, and he talks a lot about the defense. But you don't hear a lot of sub-package offense. You know what I'm saying? When last time have you really heard him talk about some sub-packages or some different groups that work, you know, that play good together and things like that? So I think that you're absolutely right. We're behind the times. We need to get on it. We need to get on it like yesterday. Mike Thomas is a defensive-minded coach, and it's the same thing that the Commanders are going through right now. You know, they get ready to let their head coach walk because he's a defensive-minded guy. They brought in the enemy, an offensive-minded guy who also has assistant head coach in his title. So the expectation that he has is that he's going to eventually succeed the outgoing coach right now. So, but he's an offensive mind. He's going to be just like he was at Kansas, like the head coach at Kansas City. And so, if we don't hurry up and make that move this offseason to get us an offensive coordinator who really not nobody from within. I like these two guys. They're band-aids right now on a larger wound. We need a real solution at the offensive position, offensive coordinator position. And until we do that, man, we'll never be able to compete at a high level in our division or let alone in the conference.
I agree. I agree. I got a guy in mind. My guy is Cliff Kubiak. He the quarterback coach in Minnesota. Okay. Not only is he a Shanahan disciple, he's a McVay disciple, and I like what he's done with Kirk Cousins and the other quarterbacks on that team. I feel like he'd be good for the quarterbacks. Whatever OC we bring in has to be good for the quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Anything good for the quarterbacks is going to make the rest of the offense better. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel like he's young, like 33 years old. I'm like, those type of dudes, we need those type of young guys in the room, to me.
Mitch, I was thinking the same guy. He's with San Francisco, though.
Huh?
He's a passing game coordinator for San Francisco.
I thought
he's the guy.
Because I know
he was San Fran.
What's the
But he's the guy. He's the guy. You named the right guy. He's it.
He got that time. The coach that's with the head coach of Minnesota when he was the offensive coordinator with the Rams. I think he was the quarterback coach with him with Den. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but Clint Kubiak is the passing game coordinator for the Niners. That's what I want. You said the right guy. You said the guy. That's the guy.
That's what I want.
He's an animal.
So I have two questions for you guys, right? And I'll the last one I'm gonna throw that one last, and I want everybody to comment on these last two. JPJ, should we be concerned with his too touchy-feely hands putting us in bad situational football, or we live with it? Will, you go first.
You know, I think right now we're just going to have to live with it. I like his aggressiveness, his athleticism. That boy has heart. You know, he has the pedigree to play the position. And I know it's just a matter of time that, you know, they're going to be able to tweak him, hopefully enough to stop doing that. If not, you know, it's like for what he gives us, would you want to throw the baby out with the bathwater? Or would you say, hey man, for what he gives us, we can tolerate that every now and then? But I think that's what we're going to have to accept for the rest of the season. But going forward into next season, I think he really needs to go to some type of camp outside of Pittsburgh and get with some other DBs and work on some technique and get some other ideas that can really help him. Because hey, I that's pretty much my thoughts on it.
Sean?
I mean, I agree with what Will said. Like, I think it's a technique thing, and like it's nothing to be worried about yet because he's still a rookie, and he can learn how to cover people without being so handsy. Which I think that kind of leads me to something that I always hear and think about is the coaching staff for the Steelers is like one of the smallest coaching staffs. So I think they need to add more pieces to that coaching staff. I mean, I know Austin works with the DBs too. I think Terrell Austin does.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, get some. Well, first of all, Austin need to go. But I bring in somebody to work directly with the DBs. You know what I mean on that because for the most part, all the other DBs is suspect. But yeah, I think it's something that could be worked on. So it's nothing to be worried.
Go to somebody's farm and chase some chickens. That's what he need to do.
Oh God. Go ahead, Mitch.
I agree with Will and Sean. I'm be honest with you. I like them being physical at the point because these refs irritate me letting the receivers be handsy, but don't let the corners be handsy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a receiver can damn near push the corner.
Yeah.
Away with it.
Redirect him.
But Lord help me if the corner touch him. It's the world is over. You know what I mean? I like him being handsy. I do, but I know he do have to get it under control. So, like you said, hopefully he work where he can work with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark do DB camps all the time. Hopefully we give somebody, work on his technique as far as, getting in and out of there without having to use his hands so much. But overall, I love him as a corner. Yeah. I love physical corners. I like him. Shoot, the corner we about to play against this week, 2 of them are physical corners. So, I like him, but he do got to work on that.
Artie Burns, baby. We got to go up against Artie.
Oh, forget Artie. I ain't thinking about
Titus.
I'm all right with what he's doing with his hands. It hasn't cost us any games. The opposing quarterback's QBR targeting him is down. Like, he's a rookie. I get it. Like, he got some growing to do, but would I rather him not being as aggressive as he is right now or taking the bad with the great that we're getting? I'd rather, hey, play ball, young man. His technique will get better over time, but he's having an outstanding rookie year, so who am I to say anything about what he's doing out there with his hands?
Right. So last question. A lot of chatter has been going on about Mike Tomlin. We should fire him. We need to let him go. But as reports came out that the Steelers are actually looking at extending Mike Tomlin's contract. Do you agree or disagree with extending Mike Tomlin's contract? Titus, we'll start back with you.
I would extend him with the understanding that he must get a real offensive-minded play caller, offensive architect to ride with him, and allow that person to have that full control. The days of the defensive culture in the NFL is over, right? And offensive head coaches are now the ones that are winning. There isn't a whole lot of defensive coaches, head coaches winning championships and winning conference titles right now. It's just not a thing. So if we're going to keep him, we need to make sure that we have a balance on the offensive side, and that person is empowered, and also with personnel decisions too, because once again, all that money's been spent on defense. So if we're going to keep Tomlin, we also have to come to an understanding with him, the GM, the offensive coordinator, on where the money needs to be spent at in the future.
Mitch?
I agree a lot with what Titus said. I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan, so of course I'm for extending my head coach, bro. Like I don't really care what nobody think about that. I'm all on board with Mike T, but he do need to get an OC, and that's real. Tyus, I never thought about what you just said. You kind of enlightened me with saying what you said, because that's actually facts. I never thought about it in that way, but that's true. But at the same time, offense has been doing that, but you gotta have some level of defense. And them them paying money for pass rushers is the way of the league. Also, to be completely honest, you really play offensive players and pass rushers. So I do agree that they need to do with the off OC, and they need to get. That's why I said Cliff Kingsbury, Cliff Kubiak, because I feel like he's young and he can be there for a long time and grow these players. So yeah, I agree 1,000% with what Titus said.
Sean, you go ahead, and then Will, you can take us home.
Right.
So I have like two thoughts on this. Like I wouldn't extend him yet because I kind of feel like I'm in this space where I feel he's in that Andy Reid space where it may be kind of time for him to go. He's still a good coach. He's a great coach. Like, and I like Tomlin as a coach, and I know if he goes somewhere else, he's gonna get busy there. But
You mean like, I'm sorry to cut you off. Do you mean like the Andy Reid from Philadelphia Eagles
yeah,
days?
yeah.
Okay.
The Andy Reid from Philadelphia Eagles, where it was like, I might have been here too long. Maybe let me go somewhere else because the message might be stale. This might be, you know what I mean? But I also feel that, like I said, I wouldn't extend him yet, but I would be like, yo, we're not going to fire you. No, we're not firing you this year, of course. We're not going to. But similar to what Titus said with the offensive coordinator, like it's going to be a mandate. Like, yo, you have to bring in somebody that's a top coordinator or top like assistant. Like you can't be bringing in these dudes that's ostrich species from, you know what I mean, from wherever, like to be our coordinator. You can't be promoting from within. You can't bring in your boy that recruited your son in Maryland. Like, nah, let's not do that no more. Let's get quality offensive coordinators. Like that's the only way that you're gonna stay on these sticks is if you get a quality offensive coordinator, somebody that's a proven track record of dialing plays, building quarterbacks, building passing games, building O linemen, and again, like Titus said, let's spend money on the offense. Let's get a center. Like we can't be having like he's no damn more. Like stop it with these dudes, man. Like let them go play man midget or something. Like they don't belong in the NFL. Send them to the XFL. Like let's get some real NFL caliber linemen. You know what I mean, to help with this offense. Like that's what I would do. So like I said, I kind of feel like two ways about it. Like I'm not extending you, I'm not firing you. It may be time for you to go because we're gonna finish 9-8 again. But if you make this move and get a high power offensive coordinator, all right, then we're gonna re you up because I think, you know what I mean, our system will start moving to where we need to go.
Will?
Hey man, so shout out to 757. Mike Thomas, my 757 brother from Hampton, Newport News. Hey, but I'm gonna say this to you, man. I've been having mixed feelings about this because there just comes a time where the message gets stale, the motivation gets stale, the coaching may get stale to a degree, and do the players still hear and respect? So I hear when players come to Pittsburgh, they say, "Hey, Coach Tomlin is the reason why I'm here," and it warms my heart, make me feel good. Like, man, this man is regarded highly around the league, and we should be blessed and honored to have him. Then I go out and listen and read and look at all the chatter that's coming from Steeler Nation and the things that people say. Our white brothers, our black brothers, and you can almost say that. Sometimes I wonder why did he still want the job based on some of the stuff that people say. So I'm happy that they're going to re-sign him because he's a stabilizing force. That means that we'll be solidified as a team. But I do believe that they do need to fortify him with some offensive coaching prowess, like all the gentlemen are saying. someone that has his respect and that can really push him and challenge him, as a head coach, to keep him on his toes, keep him hungry and keep him focused. He definitely needs help. We see what's happened since he's been on the team, and the migration, the evolution of all the Cowher players leaving. When once Ben left, we're in season number 2 where this is his team now. This is all his team. These are his picks, and he's built his team. So how much longer do we give him now that he's reset? And he has to find a quarterback. He has to, just build a cohesive unit across the board. He's on the clock. He needs to show the goods right now. I believe that the time is his. He's been on the team long enough, and we got to see something. Just try not to, fall under 500 isn't the standard. The standard is the standard. This is his shirt, right? So we want the standard to be in pursuit of that number 7, that 7th heaven, that stairway to 7, So I just want them to help him, fortify him. I want Khan to be a big voice in the room. And when it comes to drafting players, when it comes to free agency, you name it. But more importantly, when it comes to coaching, they need a holistic look at how we promote and hire from within or hire from without. I think most of this stuff needs to happen from outside the organization. We need to bring in somebody that has a fresh idea about how the league has turned and evolved, and it's an offensive league, and it makes no sense that we averaging 13 points a game in an offensive dominated league right now. And we've been playing crappy ever since we had this idea of scoring 30 points a game that we've never really measured up to with the previous coordinator. So we need some work, man. And if Tomlin wants to be a part of that renaissance, man, then so be it. But they need to give him some help, and that's the way I feel about it.
Gentlemen, I thank you very much for joining me tonight. Thank you for all your input. Thank you for your opinions, your objectivity. I like this segment. I think this is something that we can. I think this is something that we can build on. Tremendously, especially with all of us being Pittsburgh fans. Will, Mitch, I appreciate you guys for inviting me to DMV Still Deal. It's passionate Steelers fans. It's a great conversation. It's opinionated. So if there are any Steeler fans that are looking for a group that they can go have Steeler chat, I want to ask each of you to go ahead and shout out your information if you choose to. Mitch, like your podcast, Titus, like your Titus Takes, and then tell them where they can find you at to get that information. And we'll start as the screen is. It'll go from Will, Mitch, Sean, and then Titus. You can close it out.
Well, my name on Facebook is Mitch Scott. You can get me on Facebook. Hit me through Messenger. The group is DMV Still Deal. It's a private group right now. We kept it that way because, we just want to kind of keep it sanitized to a degree because we don't want some of the same issues we see in other groups. But if you really want to be a part of DMV Still Deal, give us a holler. Myself, Miss Matthews, and we'll bring you in the group. You answer those questions. We got to know that you love the team. We got to know that you're going to come and you're going to bring some objective opinions and not be the type of person that like to attack other people in the group. As long as you're not that type of person, we would love to have you in the group because it's all about Pittsburgh Steelers Nation, baby, and we love our team.
Will couldn't have said it no better. We built our group. You know what I'm saying? We built our group. DMV Still Deal. We built that. Us two, and then we brought some other people along as well. We built this so we try to keep as clean as possible. I got my own podcast. It's Matt Full Sports Podcast. I do most of my stuff on IG Live. You can catch me there. I do other Pittsburgh Steelers fans podcasts too. That's been happening a lot lately for whatever reason. But I wanted to know about yours, Titus. Where can I find your stuff at?
I don't have a podcast. I do short clips.
Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, Titus. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry, but listen, I'm looking at the comments, right? And then somebody by the name of Pretty Bo
Yeah, that's my
just
man.
commented, and he said Hillstorians, but then he said, "I hope y'all ain't still as stupid, because there's a difference."
Oh, that's funny as hell.
But he right though. But he right whole time.
Look, look, y'all.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Still a stupid.
But go ahead, Titus.
So first of all, Mitch, Will, I'm going to tap into y'all. I already joined the group where I sent the invite. Matt, definitely going to check out your podcast. I do short clips, and also I give sports betting takes on Sundays for college football, Saturdays, NFL Sunday mornings. And you can find me at Titus Takes, IG, TikTok, and on Facebook. Also, my other Facebook page, Titus Sanders. You can find me there as well.
Sean?
Oh yeah, I'm Will and Mitch. I'm gonna tap into y'all stuff as well too. So look for Sean Farr, trying to join the group as well.
That's what's up.
You can find me on Facebook, Sean Farr, or on IG. I think Sean Fizz. That's it. I don't have no podcast, no nothing. I just drop my opinion whenever I feel like it.
Yeah. So listen, we're definitely going to build on this moment. We're definitely going to not only build on it, but we're going to expand it. I think we have something that we really can globalize. And I'm going to talk with you guys behind the scenes. But before I close out, I want everybody to know that Mitch does have a live going on after us at 8:30. So if you're on IG, if you have that time, if you can, go ahead and jump over to IG, catch Mitch as he go live. And again, I'm Pitts. I'm one half. I'm half of Pitts and Push. Push couldn't be with us tonight. He'll be with us on future shows when we talk about Steelers and, of course, everything else. We're currently in season 5 of our podcast. We just interviewed Coach Hugh Jackson a couple weeks ago, and Coach Bernard Clark Jr. season 5, episodes 1 and 2s. And we're looking forward to building, man. Right now, catch us on everything: Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Google. We are on YouTube. We have our website, pitsandpush.com. And we're also streaming live everywhere. I also have my own show on Bowie TV, Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11. So we thank you guys for joining us. We thank you for your support. We ask that you continue to support us, share, comment, whether you like it or not. We want to hear your comments. We want to see how we can do better. Thank you for being with us tonight. Gentlemen, enjoy your night. Happy New Year's to everyone else.
Same to y'all, man. Thanks, T. Appreciate y'all, brothers.
Appreciate it, brother.